Hi, everybody, and thanks for being with us tonight. Well, tonight at 6 p.m. in France, but I guess it's earlier in your home countries or maybe later. My name is Catherine Maisonneuve. I'm the International Promotion Manager for the Americas. And today is the second session of our live sessions dedicated to our international alumni who are living in France, living or working in France and in Europe. And so your host today for this live dedicated to our marketing programs is Damien Costello. So Damien, the mic is yours.
Okay, great. Thank you, Catherine, and great to see everybody there. Just a quick word, if those of you who are not presenting this evening, if you wouldn't mind making sure you keep your cameras and your microphones cut to avoid any echoes in the sound, that would be much appreciated. So I'll start by giving a presentation here. I'll try and move to our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so as Catherine said, this we'll go for Planicon. This event is, we call this Move Forward, or in the shoes of our international alumni who are working in France or Europe. And the objective is very simple. It's just to share the stories of our alumni, how they came to come to KEDGE, their experience at KEDGE, and what they are doing after, what they're doing now. So our list of hosts this evening, we have Thea Stefani, who graduated from our Master of Science program in Sports and Event Management. And she's currently working as a marketing assistant with the football club AS Monaco in Monaco. We have Sidesh Kadam, who graduated from our MSc Marketing and is now working in Belgium, outside of Brussels, as a digital manager with Ontex, which is a medical devices company. We have Fernanda Hernandez Martinez, who graduated from our MSc Marketing program and is now in the Paris area in Clichy working as a new account manager with Amazon. We have Reiko Yoshikawa, who's a graduate from our MSc in Marketing program and is now a product consultant with Dillatrust, also in the Paris area. We had Pranesh Rani. I think Pranesh is running late, working, there's a time difference. He's currently based in Scotland, working as a social media creative lead with a company called MSc Fitness in Scotland. And then we have our representatives from KEDGE Business School. So we have my colleague Frédéric Gobert. Frédéric is the head of our alumni services here at KEDGE Business School, and Catherine and myself both work in our international promotions and development team. So tonight's agenda is very simple. First, I'm going to quickly present our MSc in Marketing programs, be very brief. I'm not going to go into detail. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them either by email, telephone, or Skype chat, as you like. We'll then turn the floor over to our alumni, and they're going to talk about their before, during, and after. So before they came to KEDGE, how they found KEDGE, what their experience was during their studies, and then what happened afterwards. And then turn the mic over to Frédéric, who's going to give a quick presentation of the KEDGE Alumni Services and our alumni network. And then finally, we'll respond to your questions that you might have for our alumni or for our institution representatives, which you can write on the chat, the Teams chat box, and we'll turn to those questions and read them and answer them one by one at the end of the presentation. So my very brief presentation is that all of our Master of Science programs are rooted in what we call centers of excellence or centers of expertise. We have 8 centers of excellence and expertise, and these derive their name by the fact that our professors, our full-time faculty members, are publishing in high-level journals in these different fields. One of these areas of excellence is the marketing domain, and that's what we're speaking about this evening. But we also have centers of excellence in supply chain management, corporate social responsibility, and centers of expertise in innovation and entrepreneurship, finance reconsidered, wine and spirits, healthcare management, and creative industries and culture. So if we look at the different the 15 different Master of Science programs that we offer, which are fully taught in English, we can basically group them into these different research centers: marketing, supply chain, wine and spirits, finance, innovation and entrepreneurship, and creative industries. And tonight, we're going to be focusing on our marketing programs, of which you can see there are 5 here, and you can see the campuses where these are delivered. So we have our MSc in Marketing, we have our MSc in International Business, our MSc in Digital Marketing and Sales, International Sports and Event Management, and our MAI, so Master of International Purchasing. So for those of you who don't know, you can complete an MSc at KEDGE on either a short or a long track. A short track meaning you already have a 4-year bachelor and you're going straight to a specialization year, or a long track meaning you have a 3-year bachelor or no business and management experience, which requires a first year of what we call a pathway course. And here's the structure here. If you need to come in for the 2-year version of the program, the long track, the first year will be dedicated to management fundamentals. So project management, team management, innovation, negotiation, and then some soft skills classes as well. This will then lead to the second year, which is the specialization year. This is a 2-semester in the class program, 30 ECTS credits per semester, normally about 6 classes, followed by a 6-month internship and then a management dissertation. We also provide non-credited extras, which include personal development, coaching, corporate visits and lectures, job dating sessions, ways for students to help develop, and Frederick will talk about this later, developing your employment potential with consulting in, for example, developing your LinkedIn profile, your CV, or your interview techniques. So a very quick overview of the different programs in marketing. First and foremost, we have our MSc in Marketing. This is a program which is developed on the 3 campuses of Marseille, Bordeaux, and Paris. We have about 200 students a year who do this program. We're looking for the incoming students typically come from either a business and management field, but not only, they might come from a technology background, engineering, or humanities, technology field, sales, communications. And after graduation, these people are finding jobs as brand managers, marketing managers, social media management, etc. The tuition fees are indicated, $16,500 for the specialization year. And this program, depending on the campus, you'll follow one of the different specializations we offer, and there are 6 in total on the 3 different campuses, Bordeaux, Marseille, and Paris. We also have our International Business program, very similar structure to the MSc in Marketing, developed on the 3 campuses of Marseille, Bordeaux, and Paris. About the same number of students, 200 per year. Similar profile, but the people finding jobs after graduation are usually working in group or regional business management, import-export, consulting. Same tuition figures and a similar structure in that you choose an elective and that determines where the campus where your studies will take place, which campus your studies will take place. We then have, because this has become its own field, the digital marketing and sales, which has become separate from our MSc program in marketing. So this used to be a specialization in that program, and it's now its own program altogether. So this takes place at our Marseille campus. We have about 60 students a year, and these are people who are very, focusing specifically on digital marketing techniques. They might be coming from a computer science background or digital technologies, and they're looking to find jobs afterwards as social media managers, traffic managers, AdWords strategists, things like that. Same tuition fees, and the program includes several extras like the guest lectures, study trips to different companies as well. We have our MSc in International Sports and Events Management. Thea Stefani is here tonight, who graduated from that program. This also used to be a specialization in the MSc in Marketing, now its own program entirely. Small cohort size dedicated to people with a very specific project in the sports management field. So looking to work in events and communications management, for example, corporate sponsorship or customer relationship managers, same tuition fees, no difference. And again, this is for people who have a very specific objective in the sports field. And finally, our Master of International Purchasing. This is one of the largest programs at KEDGE, developed in several formats, both in the English and French language, and it's taught on both our Paris and Bordeaux campuses. For those doing a Master of Science, it's a little bit more expensive. And this is for people who are looking to be working in import-export as asset acquisition, strategic sourcing managers, strategic business analysts, etc. So this is my contact information. I'm going to stop talking now. You probably have received an email from me already, but my contact information is easily findable on our website at the bottom of any of our program pages. You can contact me by email, telephone, LinkedIn, as you like, and I'd be more than happy to provide you with more information. So I'm going to stop my presentation now, if I can. Now I'm sharing my screen that I don't want to share. All right, there we go. Thank you. So we're now going to turn over to our graduates and to have a roundtable discussion about the different topics that we talked about. And the first question was, how did you find KEDGE? So maybe Fernanda, you're at the top of my screen. If I could start with you, maybe you could just tell us a little bit. I know that you were already in France, if I understand correctly, coming from Mexico. And how did you come to find KEDGE Business School?
Hello, Damien. Thanks a lot for inviting me to this webinar. My name is Fernanda. I am Mexican. Actually, I wasn't in France, but what happened is that I had a previous experience and exchange during my bachelor studies in France. So I kind of know KEDGE before, because this is a really well known school in France. And then I went back to Mexico to end up my bachelor degree. And I had the opportunity to know someone of KEDGE in an event that was the Access Master Fair in Mexico City. So after having this experience of exchange in France, I really wanted to came back and to have an international experience and to work abroad. So I was able to get to know more about KEDGE, to receive all the necessary information, and this really motivated me to come to KEDGE and to do the MSc in marketing degree at KEDGE.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving down, how about Sidesh? Maybe you could tell us how you came to find KEDGE Business School, how to hear about this school.
For sure, Damien. Once again, thank you, Damien, for inviting me and your team. So I'm Sidesh. I'm working in Belgium right now, so I'm not based in France. But it's not that far away from France, the country, so it's more or less same. Well, I was always, I was born in India. I was studying in India. I graduated. I did my post-graduation also from India. I did my MBA over there. I started working in a company, Mercedes-Benz Automobiles, which was a time when I got in touch with a lot of international people, mainly Germans, and that ignited that, let's say, quest to look and work in an international environment. So I went to Campus France in Mumbai, and yeah, they introduced me quite many schools. But the KEDGE program on international MSc in marketing, let's say, struck me quite a lot because it had a lot of options. It had a lot of courses that you can follow. For example, there was one which was on jewelry marketing, and it was something completely different. And I said, yeah, this is the school that gives so much range of courses to let you study. It has also a corporate project, which I did with a company named Gemalto. So yeah, it because of the range of the courses that the school was offering, I said, yeah, let's go for KEDGE. And I think it was one of my best decisions in my let's say education career as such. So yeah, that's the way I landed in KEDGE.
Excellent. Thank you very much. How about you, Thea? How did you find this school? You were studying Bocconi, if I understand correctly, before.
Yes. So hello, everybody. My name is Thea. I'm coming from Italy, and thank you very much for your invitation. So I started my university in Bocconi, and I started with management. And from my experience, I was an athlete before starting university, a competitive athlete, and I always had a passion for sport.
and I always kind of knew that I wanted to work in that kind of environment. So I started with a general course of management, and after my bachelor, I knew I wanted to go more into the specific. And at that point, I just researched what were the best courses in sport management. And when I analyzed all of them, KEDGE for me was the best because it allowed me to cover multiple elements and multiple parts of the sport environment. For me, it was crucial because I still did not have a clear idea what kind of job I wanted to have in the sport industry. And KEDGE allowed me to see how it would work in different situations, in different environments. So at that point, I applied, and fortunately I got in. And as was said before, I think it was for me the best decision I could have made because it opened for me a lot of doors, and I'm still thankful for that, basically.
Great, thank you. And Reiko, it's your turn now.
Yeah, thank you, Damien. Hi, everyone. I'm very glad to be here with all of you. So I'm going to just present myself very quickly. My name is Reiko. I'm from Peru. And how I discovered KEDGE, it was very similar to Fernanda's history. Actually, I discovered the KEDGE in an Access Master Fair. I got an invitation, so that's how I discovered KEDGE. And I wanted to do a master abroad because before, when I was studying my bachelor degree, when I was in Peru, I was studying business administration. I had the opportunity to do an exchange program in Brazil, and I loved the experience about studying abroad. So I wanted to repeat that kind of experience. And why did I choose the marketing program? Well, basically because while I was studying business administration, marketing courses were the ones I liked the most about my curriculum map. And that's why I decided to choose a marketing program. And finally, I choose KEDGE because it is quite well positioned in France and internationally. And I was always very, very well advised. So basically that, I decided to choose KEDGE, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you all of you for telling us how you came to find this school. I didn't say, but I graduated from a KEDGE program as well. Now I work for the school, but I also am not from France and came from abroad and did a program here as well. So we all have a similar story about how we came to be here. Now the next part of our conversation is to talk about your experience during the program. Now this was obviously at least a year, if not two, so it's difficult to summarize that and to keep us all into the short time constraints that we have this evening. So maybe I could just say, talk about some specific memories that you might have, and just get some of you to answer maybe one or two questions. Talking about when you first arrived in France, when you first got to school and you met your fellow classmates, you met your teachers, your professors, your academic advisors, who could share their experience in that field, what it was like when you first arrived, and what happened the first days when you got here.
Well, I can go ahead. Well, the best thing that happens when you are on the first day on the campus or even in the class is you meet so many international students. For example, I was immediately put into a group to work, and in my group there were Chinese, there were people from Africa, there were people from Americas. And then that's the best experience that you can have, because if you want to have a international career, I think that would be the breeding ground for you to get that experience. So that's the best memory that I have. That was let's say the first thing that I had. And the second thing was the campus, because I think for all of us, what we really liked was the place where the campus is placed in Marseille, for example, because that's the campus where I was studying. And it's really nice in the sense it's very close to Kalong, which is a nice place, getaway. So the campus is so beautiful. So yeah, it's a combination of everything: nice people, nice food, nice campus. So yeah, it was a very memorable experience in that way. I mean, for me.
All right. And how about what was one of the surprises? What was one of the things, the first surprise that you might have had? Maybe we'll talk to Fernanda. Maybe you could tell us what was one thing that perhaps surprised you when you first got to KEDGE or during the course of your studies? Something maybe you didn't expect.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that surprised me was like the way I was welcome at KEDGE. I mean, there is like a whole international group of students that are there to welcome you, to make sure that you are really integrated, that you have all the information you need. I always have like a lot of support from the international office at KEDGE. I was really happy to see that there were a lot of students that came from Latin America, but also during my courses, I was only with French students and with some international students. So this allowed me to integrate to the culture. So I think that I was really surprised to see how KEDGE is a school that really cares about you being integrated, you having all the information. It's a place where you can meet people from a lot of places. I also had the opportunity to participate in the KEDGE associations. So I was really passionate about dance and arts, and I managed to be in a French association of students that share the same passions and the same interests like me. So I think this is one of my best memories and the things that the first things that surprised me when I arrived here in France.
Thanks. All right. Well, we know that a lot of your experience when you're doing a program, some of your experience happens in the classroom, and then a lot of the things happen outside of the classroom. So Rico and Thea, maybe who wants to talk about maybe one of the most strongest memories you have of what happened in the classroom? Maybe, for example, a teacher who you really were impressed with, or a class activity or a group project or something like that.
I mean, I can go, but for me, it's you spoke about in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And actually, for me, the greatest experience regarding the teachings happened outside of the classrooms, because a part of the sport management program is to do a lot of projects and projects with real sport institutions and real sport clubs and events. And therefore, we went multiple times, like let's say on the field. So we worked with the Marseille, we worked with Formula One, we worked with Sail GP, and for all of these times, we visited their places and we worked with them. And in those situations, I think we learned the most, and all of the presentation that we made for the actual people that work in the sport environment helped me the most when I moved here in Monaco and when I started working. So that for me was the best thing and the best experiences, let's say.
All right. How about you, Reiko? What was maybe an in-class or out-of-class experience that sort of really, you remember strongly?
Maybe what I can emphasize is when we were looking for an internship, we were always very, very well advised. I was very surprised, gladly surprised. There were a lot of workshops proposed by KEDGE about many different subjects. For example, how to improve your CV, how to improve your LinkedIn profile, how to dress well for an interview. And they organize as well many talks with big companies, so they can present to us, for example, the recruitment process, the jobs they have available. And besides that, there are a lot of other activities as well that you can do, such as sports, cultural activities, art, dance. So you will never get bored at KEDGE. It is not like, I mean, they offer you a complete bunch of services, not only academic services, but also cultural services, and so you will never get bored. It's a complete experience, if I can resume.
Did any of you have any experiences with culture shock coming to France, studying at KEDGE or in France? Did any of you have what you could describe as culture shock, or did you feel that the cultural integration was relatively easy?
I think I can take this one. I don't know if there was anyone else that wanted to speak.
Go ahead, Fernanda.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think for me, as I was like, I choose to be in the French version of the program. Like in the Mscn Marketing, you can take it full English, but you can also choose to have like a mix of English and French program.
That
so
was
I decided
before,
to,
but we don't do that anymore. But go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, that
Well,
was before. Yeah.
I decided to do the French version because I wanted to improve my French and to get to more people in France. So I think at the beginning I have some cultural shocks because the culture in Mexico it's not the same as here in France. So I think it was really interesting to discover like the way they work in teams was different than the way I work. Like the organization is kind of different. Also, at the beginning, what I was like in a classroom where we were only 2 international students. So it was kind of a shock at the beginning to see a different way to work. Also, the way to make friendships in France is kind of difficult, kind of different, and kind of different than in Mexico. For example, in Mexico, we used to be really warm and to be really expressive. And here, people is more reserved. But I think that I managed to do like friendships that last for a really long time. I have really good memories of friends in my classroom. But at the beginning, I think there are cultural shocks, a different way of working, of organizing. But I think this is a really cool experience because this allowed me to understand better the way that French people work and to be with a French team right now in the company I work. So I think it was, after all, a great experience.
Great, excellent. Anybody else want to add their experiences with what could potentially be described as culture shock studying in France?
Well, I would say there were a lot of culture shocks in a positive way, because as Fernanda was saying, it's cool to have a culture shock because you get to learn quite many things. One of the things was more on the social part, because yeah, it's I would not say it's difficult to make friendship, but once you make friendship, it stays for a long time, and they are very loyal to you. I also found many French people very open in terms of ideas, very open in terms of perspectives for life. So they're not reserved in that sense. Personally, that I had experienced. So yeah, mainly in terms of the people, also in terms of the food, because you will enjoy this quite a lot. Because we back in India have a habit of finishing your food fast and then going back to work and then work. But the culture shock for me was, the French people have their lunch with a nice amount of time, which was nice. It took sometimes 1 hour to finish their lunch, 1.5 hours. So that was also kind of a personal shock for me because it was a bit too much. Coming from coming from India, it's not that normal. But okay, it was positive. It was enlightening, to be very frank.
What was one thing, maybe Tia or Rico, what was one thing that you learned something that you learned during the program that you didn't realize at the time was actually quite applicable, that only now, maybe retrospectively after you've left and you're now working, was something that you look back on and you say, oh, in the classroom, we talked about that, but maybe it didn't make as much sense at the time, or maybe you didn't have the context at the time that now makes sense now that you're in the professional world. Is there any example of something you could think of like that?
For example, nowadays I deal with clients. So having, for example, we had in class we used to have many study cases, real study cases with company cases, I could say, that I maybe at the beginning I didn't understood why they emphasize this part, like the practical part of the theory that we used to have at courses, but now I realize it's quite important. And also I remember that we had to present we had many presentations. Before I didn't know why in each course we need to present our work, but now I realize it's quite important, because as I deal with clients, I noticed that I had developed soft skills, for example, when I present the product, when I express myself. So maybe that's something I can mention right now.
Excellent. Thank you.
For me, I would say it's almost the same. So I had the same experience she had in terms of a lot of presentation, a lot of deadlines, maybe even short times. And at the time, I did not really realize why. But now working and dealing with the same situation, I'm not scared of them. Let's say, like, I know that I can deal with the short time. I know I can deal with the short delivery of a presentation, and I'm not worried. And this allows me to actually give my best in a work environment without being stressed and without being worried, because I'm confident in myself. And this definitely I got it from KEDGE, because it was a soft skill, let's say, that I did not have before. But the way in which the program is built and to which the classes are built allowed me to get it, that's for sure.
Great. All right, well, let's turn to the last part of the discussion this evening, which is after you left. So it started out with, once all of our MSc programs require that you complete an internship. How did that go? What was it? And maybe you could tell it, how did it go? How did it, what was an important thing to find your internship? What was maybe one strong piece of advice you would give to future students when looking for an internship? Maybe Sidesh, you want to talk about that?
No, sure. Well, first of all, getting an internship in France, it's possible, because many of us, we have a perception that, okay, it's not possible, you have to know French. I think there are a lot of opportunities. Now, the good part is that KEDGE offers a lot of support to you in terms of making your CV good, how to apply for different jobs. So there are a lot of services that they offer. What is a big piece of advice that I can really recommend is, please don't think that just by default you are going to graduate from KEDGE, the internship will land onto your plate. That's not really something that I would say. I would really say that there are opportunities, but you need to build a strong network of yours. You'll have a lot of opportunities to meet different companies that might come on the campus. You might have a lot of chances to work. You might get chances to work with different companies on different projects. But please try to build your network to make sure that it's not only helps in your internship, but also for your long-term career in terms of a CDD or a CDI contract in France. So network would be my biggest piece of advice to all the students who would like to join KEDGE, or KEDGE or any other school for that matter.
All right. How about Fernanda? Maybe you'd have something to share in that regard?
Sure. So on my side, concerning the internships, I had the chance to do my internship at Nestlé as a brand manager. It was a really cool experience, and I think it's really nice to have an internship experience, because it helps you afterwards to find a job. Like the fact of having an experience in France before, it's really appreciated by the companies afterwards when you look for a job. In my case, I really appreciate all the support that KEDGE provides you when looking for your internship. So you have the Career Center, which is always available to help you to find different options related to your career objectives. You also have all the KEDGE network, so you can contact the alumni, you can contact people that are working in companies that you're interested that are at KEDGE, and they are, most of all, are always willing to help you and to share their experience. You also have a lot of events where companies came to KEDGE, and you are able to have direct interviews with the people of the company and to give your CV. And you also have like a lot of workshops to improve your CV, to improve your letter of motivation. So you are really guided in the process to find an internship. I think one of the huge advantage of KEDGE is the network. I mean, I think this was something that really helped me a lot. Even afterwards, to find a job, I was able to talk with people of KEDGE that were in companies that interested me, and they were like always available to provide you an advice, as well as the career center. So I think it was a cool experience for me, and I really appreciate like all the resources and all the guidance that KEDGE provide me when I was looking for an internship, and then when I was looking also for a job.
I think I might add something, because from my experience in the sport course, I feel like it's a bit different in the terms that the professors are actually workers in the industry. They're not primarily professor. There are people that work every day in brands, and companies and clubs. So for us, it was crucial, and my best advice would be to do your best and focus in class and do your best in your projects. Why I say that? It's because I have a lot of friends who are my classmates that are currently working with the professor that we had in the past years, because we were able to do a good job and maybe impress them and show our ability, and this led them to have a job. Not for me to say that by going to class you will automatically get an internship, but of course it's an additional opportunity to show your ability that maybe others that apply don't have, and this gives you an edge. And I think for me, from my experiences, it's kind of the same, meaning that my current boss is actually a KEDGE graduate from my same program, and coming from the same school gave my boss the certainty of my ability, and she knew what I studied and she knew what kind of ability and preparation I had, and this allowed me basically to get the opportunity that I got.
All right, Reiko, your turn. What would be your reflection on that?
Yeah, in my experience, well, I did the long track master, so I did master 1 and master 2 years of master, and I did 2 internships, one for each year of master, and I found them both through the KEDGE job site. So just if I could give you a recommendation, is to use this site. It's you have really great offers, job offers of internships, CDE and CDE as well. And I will repeat as well that you will always be very well advised. KEDGE gives you the tools to find a good internship, and but it depends on you to just take the most of them. And there is also an international office at your disposal. I remember that at first I was afraid of not finding very quickly my internship, so I went there to talk to the person in charge, and she helped me. I remember that the first interviews I got were thanks to her, so that helped me to train myself. And yeah, and another recommendation I could give to you is to put your profile in every job site you can to improve your visibility. That helped me. For example, nowadays my job position, I didn't look for it. They found me via LinkedIn, so it is a better opportunity that the one I got before. So you never know. And another recommendation I could give you is just networking. It's quite important. And the last one is to be perseverant. I mean, don't give up, even if you had a lot of negative responses, or if you don't have a quick response, that doesn't mean you will not succeed at the end. There's no reason why you won't succeed if you keep moving forward and keep trying. And that's it. You have to be just mentally strong, and you will succeed. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like for me.
Okay. Well, we maybe last point, Sidesh. I think maybe I'll ask you this. You've graduated. You graduated from this program in 2013.
13, yeah.
13. So you have the greatest distance of time to look back on your time of studying. How do you feel now, 7 years out from when you finished, about looking back, but then also for your long-term career perspectives, as you look forward as well?
Well, I graduated in 2013 from KEDGE, and yeah, I had an internship in Avignon, which is not that far away from Marseille. But because I took the first step and I got the internship, then my career started actually in France. Because of the experience that I got from my internship, they gave me a CDD, which was also nice because that gave me more stability. Then I got a job in Belgium, so I moved all the way to Belgium. But because of the strong background of my education in Mscn Marketing, because I had a degree that also was from an European institution or from one of the best European institutions, that helped me in my interviews, in my different, let's say, applications that I did. In Belgium right now, I'm heading the e-commerce division for a big company, which is around 2 billion euro company in Belgium. And throughout, not only the education, I would say, but also the experiences that I've got from KEDGE, be it from corporate projects, be it from the advice that I got from my professors, it has helped me throughout. So if I look back 7-8 years that I have been in Europe, it has been amazing, with different adventures, different experiences. So yeah, and I'm still in Europe. So yeah, it's already been, it's almost going to be a decade now in a year or two. So yeah, still enjoying Europe and Belgium and France quite a lot. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you, for sharing your stories. Maybe now we could I pass the microphone over to Frédéric, who would just give a quick couple of words about the alumni network, what KEDGE proposes, what all of you mentioned in your different conversations, and then I see we're starting to get some questions. So please don't hesitate to put your question into the chat box off to the side, and as soon as Frédéric wraps up, we'll turn her over and respond to your questions. Okay?
Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot, Damien, and thanks to all our graduates. It's great to hear you. I have you've said everything, so I think I have few to add. But yes, I'm happy to be with you, even virtually. It's nice to exchange with our graduates. My name is Frédéric Gobert. I'm in charge of the KEDGE Alumni Network, the network that gathered KEDGE students and graduates, and that is composed of 80,000 people. It's one of the biggest of French business school and one of the more active. And you'll join this network as soon as you'll enter the school. Today, I will talk to you about employability at KEDGE and how the school is supporting you as a student, but also as a graduate in your internship and job search, as well as in your career evolution. So as a student, you'll first have to orient yourself, and KEDGE will help you by, as was saying the graduates, by organizing job days to offer you the opportunity to discover European companies and meet professionals, by proposing you individual coaching all along your studies, by offering you the opportunity to choose some mentors within the alumni network in the company you are targeting, by offering you the opportunity also to meet graduates and partners in taking parts of events and conferences proposed in France and abroad by the school. After, you'll have to find job opportunities and reply to them. So you'll be able to participate in recruitment fairs organized by the school. You'll have access also to various job boards with internship and employment offers. You'll have access also to our alumni directory and to your teachers' professional networks, as Thea was saying, and to various groups on social networks where we regularly share job offers. To prepare yourself to reply to those job opportunities, the school will also support you with workshops on various themes, such as optimize my LinkedIn profile, value my experience during a recruitment process, work on my CV or motivation letter, and also some simulations of recruitment interviews. Once you'll be graduates, the alumni network will take over and support you with various career services that you'll benefit all along your life and in any professional situation. For example, the network proposes supports for graduates looking for a job, but also supports for entrepreneurs, supports for graduates who want to change their career, executive outplacement services, and even support for people ready to retire. So the school is with you from the beginning to the end of your career. Lastly, please note that if you decide to set up a company as a student or as a graduate, you'll also be able to integrate one of our incubators and benefit from a support in a stimulating ecosystem composed of other entrepreneurs, coach, lawyers, bankers, business angels. All those services, events, and tools will offer you the opportunity to define and build your career in France or abroad in accordance with your personality, your expertise, and your values. So this is the end. I hope I was clear enough, and I'm at your disposal for any question.
All right. Thank you, Frédéric. Perfect. So we have one question for the moment. Those of you who are watching, if you'd like to write your questions down, please do so. We'd be more than happy to answer them. And the first question is for Fernanda. I'm not sure, Fernanda, if you read the conversation over to the side, but could you please tell us more details about how you found your internship as a brand manager at Nestle? Did you apply to the position directly on the website of the company, or did the KEDGE network help you? Do you remember when you applied, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So actually, the KEDGE network do help me to find this internship. There is a Facebook page for reserved to KEDGE students, and there was another student from KEDGE that published the announcement of the position of brand manager at Nestle. So she shared also an email address to share our CV. And she shared my CV to Nestle, and then I was contacted directly by the manager of Nestle that was looking for an intern, and they proposed me a first interview online, like for a Skype interview, and then I had another interview, a second interview in Paris at Nestle. So yeah, I think it was thanks to the KEDGE network. As Reiko said, there is like a special page where you can find a lot of job positions. There are also job positions reserved to KEDGE students. And we also have some Facebook pages where alumni and other KEDGE students can share this type of opportunities. So this is how I managed to find my my internship at Nestlé.
Thank you, Fernanda. The response is gracias. All right. Okay. Anybody else? Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask? Sorry, I think there's another question, but I can't read it. Thank you all for this meeting. Are the MSc Marketing? Are all the MSc Marketing students from overseas or some French? So I can answer that. Well, both. They all started from overseas, but now in France. Fernanda is still in France. Thea is in Monaco, which is sort of kind of France. Reiko's up in the Paris area. Sidesh left us, and now he's in Belgium. But all of the participants in today's group, as the name suggests, in the shoes of our international alumni, originally came from overseas. Any other questions that you'd like to ask? No. I have a question. How many of you, Fernanda, did you speak French before you moved here to do your studies at KEDGE?
Yes, on my case, I did speak French before coming to KEDGE because I did an exchange during my bachelor career. So I have like the experience of being here before, and I did speak French. I think it's something that is really useful, and I encourage you to at least have some courses of French, or to try to discuss with French people and to take the most advantage of it being here, because actually the fact of speaking French when coming here really opened me a lot of doors. I also managed to find a job during my studies, which helped me to finance my studies. French people really appreciate you being an international student, so having language competences, but also having the ability to speak in French and to get adapted in a French environment.
How about you, Reiko? Did you speak French before moving here?
Yeah, I learned French when I was in Peru, but I would say that I really truly learned French here. Because, for example, when I took courses in Peru, you know, they don't teach you slang, for example. So all of that I learned here, and yes, I agree with Fernanda. This opened me a lot of doors. My first internship was completely in French, so I think it's very good to at least have the basic notions in French before coming. It will be very useful. But at the same time, that will not block you if you don't know French. There are a lot of job opportunities and internship opportunities in English as well. As you know, KEDGE is a very international school, so there is no problem. But I would recommend you just to know just some basic notions of French. French. Sorry. For example, I don't know if you need to look for an address to go to buy something. For example, it would be very useful.
How about you, Thea? What's your take on the necessity to speak French when living and studying in France?
I agree. I think I am the odd case in this, because when I moved to France, I did not speak French, because actually when I studied at school, I studied German. And I learned a bit during my years in Marseille, but actually I understand French. I'm not really good at talking. It's helpful for me because being Italian, it's quite similar, so I don't have many problems in understanding. But of course, it would be much easier for me if I would be able to speak, which is why I'm actually studying it very well. In terms of speaking French during the university, yes, of course, it helps you in your everyday life. But I think it's also important for me to say that from an international student that did not speak French, I felt that KEDGE helped me and I did not feel left out. I didn't have any kind of difficulties in talking with the management or people that were there to help me. Everybody spoke English, everybody was helpful, and I never had a problem, even if I did not speak French, basically.
Thank you. Well, I don't want to not take your answers, Sadesh, but we do have one more question here, and we have 5 minutes remaining. So if you have any more questions, please go ahead and write them. This next question, hi, thank you all for your time. I want to ask if it's possible to stay in the same place where you did your internship in France. Also, I want to know if all of you worked while studying or just first studied and then found a job. So I suppose, Sadesh, you said that the place where you did your internship, you stayed there to work afterwards, is that right?
Yeah, so yes, it's normally possible. So once you do your internship, you have to show a very good performance in that company. So I did stay. They offered me a CDD, which is a limited contract, let's say limited duration contract. And that was a 6 months. And once I finished the 6 months, they offered me a CDI. CDI is a indeterminate period, so it's a permanent contract. So yes, if they are happy with your performance, if you show that you are really willing to learn in that company, you can stay in that place. And yes, I worked over there after I finished my studies, so it was not during the studies. Once I graduated, yeah, I got the internship. Yeah.
And then Reiko, if I remember, you said you were working for an internship, and then a headhunter found you on LinkedIn and convinced you to change companies. Is that right?
Yeah, in my case, it was a little bit different. I mean, I did an internship, but then I did not stay in the company. The company didn't offer any CDD or CDI. Then they prefer just to hire more interns. So I keep looking for job opportunities, and then I work for another company in a CDD, and then I changed to another company in CDI.
All right.
That's it.
And Fernanda, you answered the question about working while studying at the same time. Was that easy to work and study at the same time?
Yeah, on my case, I wanted to find a job during my studies in order to help myself to finance my studies and everything. For me, it was okay because I had the chance to find a great opportunity at the international office of KEDGE. So they were really flexible with me, with my schedule. They adapt the work hours with my schedule. I was really happy to have this experience. It was actually really flexible and really great to have a job opportunity when arriving in France and to help me finance my studies. So yeah, in my case, it went well. It really helped me a lot, and I was really happy to do it. Then in the case of the first question, I didn't stay at Nestlé after the internship. I did have an offer, but I wanted to look to have an experience in another company, and I was looking for another type of position. But I think this is something that is really common in France. I have seen a lot of cases of people I know that stay after their internship at the company they work.
Okay.
May I add something, please? Damien, can you hear me? Yes?
Yep.
I think that, well, I'm in charge of the Americas. I think that 80% of the students that I do recruit do not speak French before moving to France. I think that, Fernanda, you can confirm that. This is the first thing. And the second thing is that it is very easy to have a work permit even if you're not from the European community. So since November 2017, the French government has voted some very special conditions for alumni from like top universities and top business schools, and now they can stay here. It's very easy. You don't need any sponsorship. I think that Fernanda, you can confirm because it was the first year right after you graduated. Am I right? So you don't need any sponsorship. You need to get a CDI, obviously, but you have like 1 year to get a CDI, and we can give you way more information about this. But yeah, and a lot of my students do stay here. I think that 90% too stay in between 80 and 90% of my alumni from the Americas do stay here.
Yes, I can confirm the information. Actually, when you study a master's degree in France, after you finish your studies, they provide you a resident permit. So you can stay in France 1 year after your studies, and you have 1 year to find a job. And actually, it's really easy because the company don't need to sponsor you, or it's really, you have like the authorization from the French government to work with no limit of hours. So it's really easy for a company to hire you. In my case, I found a job after my studies with Amazon. So they just at the beginning they just provide me a permanent position. They didn't have to do anything with my resident permit or anything. I had like all the correct permissions to work here, and then they helped me to get a permanent residence permit for the following years. It was pretty easy, and all the international students that come to France can ask for this residence permit. I think there's also a delay if you want to come back to your country, and then after I think it's 4 years, you want to come back on France and look for a job. You can also go back and then ask for the residence permit, and you will have 1 year to look for a job position in France.
Yeah, I confirm that this is new. This extension, this 4-year extension is new, and I do confirm this information. Not all the Campus France offices do have the information, but I have a confirmation from the headquarters of Campus France. Thank you, Fernanda.
All right. Well, I know we wanted to stick with a 1-hour presentation. There was one last question, which is whether it's possible to change specializations between the 2 years of the MSc. I can answer that question, which is that there is no specialization in the first, if I understand the question correctly. If you do the 2-year version, as Raiko did, the first year are fundamental courses for the MSc, and those are essentially common courses no matter what specialization you do in the second year. So whether you do marketing or international business or purchasing, your M1 courses are management fundamentals, and those are prerequisites to enter the second year, the specialization year of the MSc. If you apply and you say, I want to specialize in international marketing in Paris, you do your M1 year, and then you decide, no, you change, and your M2 you want to focus on, for example, customer relationship management, which is in Marseille. There would be possible, you'd have to ask the program for a dérogation, for a special case, to change your specialization. As a general rule, when you and we have another question, when do we choose the specialization? You choose the specialization when you apply. So when you go online and you apply for the program, you select the program that you want to apply, MSc in marketing, for example, and then it says, what specialization do you want? And the application will guide you. If you say, I want to specialize in international marketing, it will tell you that Paris is the only campus possible for the M2 year. However, it is important to say that it's an advantage of KEDGE that we have this multi-campus platform, because, for example, if you're doing international marketing specialization in year 2, you can do your M1 in Bordeaux or in Paris, in Marseille, where your M2 will be in Paris. So you have this option to do different campuses and to move around to take advantage of the different cities. But that comes at the consequence of what all of our guests tonight said, which is networking. And that if you're in one place for 2 years, you have that opportunity to develop a network, which becomes important both personally and professionally. So I think we are, if there are no more questions, and I don't see any more, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much to all of our guests who agreed to give their time tonight after work on a long day and to stay here until after 7. We appreciate you so much. It was really excellent to hear your stories. I found it very interesting. I hope you found it interesting to hear the stories of your fellow alumni. And thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to the next event, Catherine, which is our next In the Shoes event is coming up soon.
Yeah, next week, and it will be dedicated to our supply chain and logistics programs. So thank you so much for attending this live session. A special thanks to our alumni who were today with us to share their experiences. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Thea, Marifer, Raiko, Sidesh. And obviously, if you need further information, the promotion team will be happy to guide you. You can contact, or your contact depends on the zone you come from, but well, you can reach Damien, or you can reach me directly, and we will answer your questions too. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you at KEDGE very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.